Breaking news continuing to unfold in France as we come on the air tonight. At least 120 people confirmed dead at this hour, as well as 8 attackers. Scenes of carnage at 6 different locations across Paris. Deadly explosions at a packed sports stadium, machine guns at a rock concert. These so-called soft targets all chosen to have the bloodiest impact on people enjoying a festive Friday night out.
Carnage and horror on the streets of Paris tonight, as ambulances continue to cart away the scores of wounded.
Overwhelming hospitals.
We received all these patients and we tried to save some. It was an awful night.
Parisians now reeling from the deadliest terror attack in that nation's history.
And then we saw people running back up the street, so we just turned around and ran for our lives.
A highly coordinated killing spree, unprecedented and unimaginable, consisting of suicide bombs, shooting rampages, and multiple explosions throughout the city.
I was sat with one friend and we immediately heard really, really loud gunshots. Everybody dropped to the floor in confusion.
At its center, this theater, the Bataclan, where the American band Eagles of Death Metal was performing to a sold-out crowd. Ginny Watson was in the audience when the gunman opened fire with machine guns.
I was, enjoying the concert and the band playing, they were in the middle of a song. And then all of a sudden we heard shots. People were running away. And then all of a sudden people on the balcony where I was sitting started getting up and panicking. And that's when I ducked, I went behind the seats.
It was a bloodbath.
Julian Pierce, also at the concert, came face to face with one of the killers.
He was very young, around 20 years old. He was wearing black clothes. There were nothing in the eyes, just anger. He was determined to kill, and he knew how to do it. I can tell you the way he was handling the weapon was not the first time. I pray for the victims. Most of them died meters away from me, some of them on me. So I pray for them. I'm sorry.
Michael Dorio's brother was performing on stage.
I saw men with machine guns just kind of shooting anything and everything, just the venue.
The concert goers trapped inside. Witnesses also reporting the attackers screaming Allahu Akbar and Syria.
I saw a couple of people wounded. I saw this guy with his white shirt basically drenched in blood. It was pretty gruesome.
I heard about 12 loud bangs, and shortly after, ambulances rushing towards the theater. I was able to follow some of them, and I could see firefighters evacuating people from the second floor, taking them to this makeshift hospital in a cafe nearby. And I saw people, coming out looking terrified, with blood all over their T-shirts.
And everybody ran out. Everybody ran out in a panic. We all ran out in different directions.
The French elite police storming the theater, dozens killed, including 4 terrorists, 3 from detonating their suicide belts, 1 shot by police.
They had the equipment, they had locations that they had picked, and they picked Friday night in Paris to launch. So yes, all of those things are coordinated. Probably by their standards, it was a successful night.
In all, at least 6 separate attacks across the City of Lights. Bloodshed as gunmen opened fire on popular restaurants.
Charlotte Breo was inside.
I was holding on to a woman on the floor with me, and I was asking her if she was okay, holding her hand, and I realized she wasn't breathing, or she was struggling to breathe. And then as I could finally look up, when I felt safe enough to look up, I realized there was a pool of blood surrounding her, and I think she'd been shot in the chest.
Bodies draped in white sheets out in the open street. Seth Porges witnessing the aftermath.
And the first thing I see is a man with a towel or shirt wrapped around his bloody hand and blood dripping from it. And then I see police with guns huddled behind vans, and then dozens of firefighters swarming the scene, blocking off the roads.
At Stade de France, where the national team was playing Germany at an exhibition match, more bombings. loud explosions rocking the stadium, stopping players in their tracks. French President Francois Hollande was at the game.
At first I thought it was a homemade bomb. There were lots of rumours in the stadium. It was going off next to the entrance E. It was very noisy. We heard rumours of there being a shooter. It was all very confusing inside the stadium.
The crowd started moving. Everyone started panicking. It was impossible to leave. The trains were blocked, people everywhere. It's very stressful. It's chaos in Paris.
Thousands flooding the field, confused by what happened.
Amid the chaos, a moment of patriotism. Fans singing France's national anthem as they evacuated the stadium.
Paris has paid a heavy price in the face of terrorism, but we are standing tall and we will stay standing tall. The death toll is very high. The sites targeted are sites where Parisians like to go out, where young people in Paris like to go at the weekends and in the evenings.
France under lockdown for the first time since World War II. Residents ordered to stay home. All public buildings closed indefinitely. Checkpoints up at the borders.
France needs to be strong, the authority of the state firm.
One of the keys is going to be, as they identify these 8 dead extremists, what circle are they from? They're going to pull all of their phone records, their social media backgrounds, all of that stuff to look at the possibility of who else is in their pool.
A somber President Obama offered support.
We've seen an outrageous attempt to terrorize innocent civilians. This is an attack not just on Paris, it's an attack not just on the people of France, but this is an attack on all of humanity and the universal values that we share. We stand prepared and ready to provide whatever assistance that the government and the people of France need to respond.
Dawn breaks on a solemn Paris morning, a city waking up to reports that 8 attackers involved are dead, either killed by police or from suicide belts. But the search continues for possible accomplices and answers.
And for some perspective on the global terrorism threat, joining me now, ABC's chief investigative correspondent, Brian Ross. Brian, all the hallmarks of jihadi extremism. The big question on everyone's mind tonight, of course, is who's responsible?
Absolutely. We don't know yet, but we will know soon, and here's why. With at least 8 suspects dead, authorities now have DNA, fingerprints, and faces to match against terror databases in both France and the U.S., and that process is already beginning. So far, it has all the hallmarks of an ISIS attack, given the fact there are some 1,200 ISIS followers or sympathizers in France considered to be French citizens or residents.
ISIS, known for its sophisticated social media campaign. Is it ISIS, Al-Qaeda? I know there's already a debate underway.
Absolutely. Well, in the last month or two, ISIS followers have been calling for slaughter on the streets of Paris. And certainly what happened tonight at that concert hall was a slaughter, a massacre of young people out to see an American rock and roll band. And nothing that ISIS or Al-Qaeda hates more than a bunch of people out to have a good time, going to a soccer game or going to a concert or out for a few drinks with friends. That was the target tonight. Very soft targets.
Decadent Western culture. Thanks so much for your updates and for your insights, Brian.